Hi, I'm Rebecca Valcarcel. Let's talk about The Things They Carried, a short story which is part of a novel by Tim O'Brien. Now, when we first look at this short story, it's tempting to say, gosh, this Lieutenant Cross does not have it together. He's daydreaming about Martha a lot. He finds himself zoning out. He blames himself for the death of one of his soldiers. But on closer inspection, I think it's fair to say that Lieutenant Cross is trying very hard to be a good leader. He introspects and finds some flaws in himself, and he admits them to us. But we're not supposed to judge him for that. Instead, we're supposed to empathize, and we see that anyone in this situation would have a hard time staying on alert constantly. Anyone would have a hard time with doing just your duty, doing everything by the book, never having some kind of escape, never having some sort of valve that one could open to let off some of that pressure. Instead, we see that all the members of the platoon have some way of coping with this very demanding situation. They each have their little indulgences, little rules they break, and all of them have a way to stay psychologically sane in the midst of this horror. Lieutenant Cross is no different, and his safety valve, his psychological escape, is reading letters from Martha and thinking a lot about Martha. He knows she doesn't love him. This is not a bombshell in his life. He knows it, but he's still clinging to it. And when we're trying to go deeper into the story, I think we have to ask why. What is the importance of those letters? What is the importance of Martha? Well, Martha, firstly, is a connection to home for Lieutenant Cross. Lieutenant Cross tastes that pebble, thinks about her body, looks at the pictures, not because he is more obsessed than a lot of young men are about women, but because she is representing home, the beauty of the world. She represents everything soft and tender. And this contrasts with the life he's living now, which is in a super masculine world where everything is harsh and difficult. There's no poetry and beauty in his life right now. The only place he gets beauty, tenderness, softness is from the idea of Martha. Now, Lieutenant Cross's name implies that he makes a sacrifice. And when he burns these letters from Martha, he's making a huge sacrifice because he is cutting himself off from beauty, from softness, from home. And where will this leave him? He will become a better leader because he won't have any connection to those things. In fact, he won't have an emotional life. He'll just become Mr. Super Soldier, a machine who does his duty and does nothing else. And is this really a good thing? It may be a good thing for a soldier, but is it a good thing for a human being? And when he returns home, will he be emotionally ready to enter into civilian life? Will he be able to build relationships? Will he have a psyche and a heart that's intact and ready to live a healthy life? Or is his sacrifice going to be that he's severed from softness, from emotion, and he'll come back broken in those ways? This is his sacrifice in my view. And the man is doing so much more than just becoming a better leader. He's cutting off a huge portion of himself in order to become this super soldier that he thinks he needs to be. And he could be right. Maybe he does need to be that. I don't think it's his fault that Ted Lavender dies. When people are off doing their private bathroom business, usually they're not going to be followed by their commanding officer. So maybe Lieutenant Cross is being too hard on himself, But even if it's true that he has to become this kind of man to do this kind of duty, it is a tragedy. So, this is my take on the story. See what you think when you read and reread The Things They Carried.